Where were you 18 years ago? Where were you when you heard the news of the terrorist attack that took place in the United States of America 18 years ago today, September the 11th? Of course, today's Wednesday, and obviously back then it was a Tuesday. Here in London, it's grey and overcast, a total opposite of the weather on the East Coast where the attacks took place. The weather was clear blue sky, not a cloud in the sky at all. Now, it's a bit of a freaky coincidence that I've got my NYPD, NY fire department hat on. I didn't wear this in any form of memorial to that day. It was just the first hat I pulled out of the drawer on my way to work this morning because it's a bit chilly here in London today. And obviously, I got thinking back to that day and my memories and what I was doing. You always remember where you were when you heard the news and how it affected you and stuff. For me, that day there was two things going on with me that day. Two things at the same time. Two sorts of sorrows, right? I got to go back to build it up. I got to go back to the few days before, to the weekend before. Now, back then, I had just started out working as an entertainer. I had a day job. I was working on the side as an entertainer, and one of the things I did as an entertainer, I worked as a stripper-gram, and I had a job in just on the outskirts of southwest London in Sunbury-on-Thames. And this was a Saturday night. And I had to dress as a fireman and perform for a hen party in a pub called World's End. And when I turned up, the procedure is, you find out that you contact the organizer of the event and they have to come out and pay you, of course, pay you on arrival. Anyway, what happened is I turned up to the World's End pub, rang up the contact name. Her name is Angelela. And when she came out, I was waiting a few yards away from the door. She came out. Time stood still for me. Time stood still. I had a moment. I saw her and she's running towards me. I thought, oh my God, wow. She was so my type. She was Mediterranean. It turned out she was Italian, of Italian origin anyway. And she was voluptuous. She had the same shape as a slim, shapely woman, but she was on the chunky side, just how I like them. She had packed chunky curves, and she had short black bobbed hair, and very pretty. And I just fancied her pants off. And when she's talking to me, I'm just looking down at her, thinking, wow, I really like this woman. But I thought it's so inappropriate. I can't really express myself to her because this is business. Anyway, we cut a long story short, did my performance and we got talking afterwards. Ironically, the performance was for an air hostess. And apparently I heard gossip that the same woman said to a friend that she thought I was gorgeous. And wow, you could imagine how happy I was because I fancied the pants off this woman. I really did. Anyway, so I got talking to her and I thought, well, seeing as you thought I was gorgeous, let's go for it. Let's go for the phone number. So talked about getting a phone number and meeting up, and she agreed at the time, but she said, oh, but you work as a stripper cam, you meet lots of women, you must have loads of women after you. And I said to her, well, it's not as fast lane as you think it is. Anyway, I don't want to waffle on too long about that. So I said to her, look, the only way you're going to really know me is to actually spend time with me and get to know me. Because I can tell you what you want to hear, and I'll either be a liar or I'm telling the truth. But the only way you're going to find out, you need to spend time with me to find out if I'm full of shit or if I'm genuine. But you ain't not going to do that by just making speculations and not spending any time with me. Anyway, so we swapped phone numbers and I went away happy as Larry. And I fancied her so much. I remember thinking, wow, you know, if me and her have make a go at this and it works out, I will be all hers. I would absolutely, you know, if I carried on liking her the way how I liked her, if my feelings for her increased, I would be in all of hers. That's how I am. I'm either the worst single man on the planet, or I am the best boyfriend a woman could ever have. I'm tunnel vision. When I'm into someone, I'm tunnel vision. So I was all happy, really. I was ecstatic. Sunday came, I played a 24-hour rule. I thought, well, Sunday, I really wanted to ring her up and speak to her. I thought, nah, keep your cool. Don't look too desperate, because desperate is a turn off. But I kept thinking about it all day that Sunday. The Monday came. Oh, man, I couldn't wait to get home from work. Rang her up, all excited. Oh, man, I was like a kid running home to watch his favourite programme. Got talking to her. Hi, and she spoke very posh. Hi, Angelella. And so we started talking, and she was asking me if, you know, the chat was a little bit on the small talk side. You know, it wasn't as bouncy as the Saturday. Anyway, so I said, oh, so what's happening with us meeting up later? And then she said, oh, well, I'll get back to you on that. My heart sank because I knew she had thought about it. Maybe she was a little bit drunk on the Saturday and she had a change of heart. And I was gutted. I was devastated because I so liked that woman. I really, really liked her. My God. I come across a lot of women, and every now and again, you come across that moment, you know. Every 10 years or so, I'd say a man hits that moment. I really liked her. I was so gutted. And I thought, you know what? I don't want to make a fool of myself. So I threw her phone number away against the advice of my friend. But, you know, the typical Leo, I've got a lot of pride. So I was pissed off and gutted. So that was a Monday. So I come to Tuesday now. I'm driving a lorry. If you're in America, it's classed as a truck, a small truck. I'm driving. At the time, they had didn't have, like, CDs was in, but still the use of radio cassettes was still in. So I was playing radio cassette, playing my music, my funky beats on the radio cassette above, and when I went to turn it over, because some of the cassettes back then, they automatically turned the cassettes over and played the next tune. But this one, it spat out the cassette. So as I took it out, I heard reports. Oh, we just heard reports at playing his hit World Trade Center. We'll give you more updates when we get it. So I'm thinking, obviously, it's a small plane. It was around 2:00 in the afternoon here in London. So I put it back, thought nothing of it, carried on. I went to a load of factories, delivered to a load of factories. None of them obviously didn't have the radio on. By the time the cassette ran out again, I took it out. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I heard both towers are down to the ground. I heard all the reports about the people jumping out of towers and everything. I thought, what the fuck? What? All the radio stations now was purely on 9/11. I couldn't believe it. When I got back to the yard, all the drivers were talking about it. At time, I had a little flat in South or West London. When I drove home, turned the TV on, I saw it on TV. I was in a daze. That night, I went to the gym. I remember driving through West London on the way to the gym, and I'll never forget what I saw. It was coming up for sunset. You know that kind of reddish glow you get in the sky when it's coming for sunset? And being in West London, I live quite close to Heathrow Airport. And I just remember looking up and seeing loads of jumbo jets circling. Loads of jumbo jets, where obviously they were turned back from. I couldn't believe, I've never seen so many airplanes up in the sky. Loads of them, just at different heights. They were obviously circling. And when I got to the gym, all you could hear was the clank of the weights. Ding, ding. Nobody was talking to each other. the atmosphere in the gym was somber. I was in shock of the news of the day, and at the same time, I was absolutely devastated that I didn't get to have a date with a woman that I was infatuated with deeply. So whenever I think of 9/11, I think of the tragic disaster it was, and at the same time, I always think of what could have been. Had she gave me a chance, I always wondered, where would we have been? It could have amounted to nothing. I may have married her, I don't know. But, I've only felt that way for a woman about maybe 4 times in my life. I'm 56 years old now. 4 times I've had that. The feeling I had that night, I've only had that about 4 times ever. And I haven't had that feeling for a I haven't had that feeling since 2005. There you go. Okay, thank you very much. Let me know what you was doing on that day. Okay, bye.